Today I'm out at Toyota headquarters near Dallas, Texas, taking a look at the newest member of the Corolla family. This is the all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. This is the smallest member of their crossover family if you want to exclude the Toyota CHR, because that is a front-wheel drive vehicle only, and the big change for the Corolla Cross versus the CHR is that this will be all-wheel drive. Available, of course, not standard. Because I don't have too much time out here to take a look at the Corolla Cross, let's do this a little bit different. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the camera, and then we'll take a look at this all-new Corolla together. Obviously, the first thing you're going to notice is that this is styled very much like the Toyota Highlander. I was a little bit surprised by that because in terms of dimensions, this is an awful lot closer to the RAV4. Although this is an important approximately 5 inches shorter than the RAV4, the biggest difference happens right back here in the rear passenger area. But aside from that, all the styling cues going on here are decidedly Highlander, from the bulge out that we find in this rear passenger area right there, right by the cargo area, just above the rear tire, that front grille again. Even the wheel designs remind me a little bit more of the Highlander than the RAV. Of course, that front end really there is the big defining feature. Even the rear end design is quite Highlander-like, and Toyota would like you to make sure that this is a more rugged intended vehicle than the CHR. So they've of course included a bike on this particular model. There are going to be 3 different trim levels. This is the most expensive one at XLE. Here you can see the model without the bike rack. We do have a reasonable amount of ground clearance underneath. And according to Toyota, there'll be 1,500 pounds of towing ability in the Corolla Cross. Turbocharged engines might be all the rage for some car companies, but not for Toyota. Instead, under the hood, we find a 2-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine paired to a continuously variable automatic transmission standard. This engine will produce 169 horsepower. That is a little bit more than some of the entries in this segment, but the Corolla Cross is a little bit heavier than some of the alternatives. So expect 0 to 60 times to be pretty similar to some of the less powerful options in this group. Thanks to the continuously variable automatic transmission under the hood, we're told to expect 32 miles per gallon combined. Let's take a look at the inside now. You can see that the inside is designed very much like a blend of RAV4 and a little bit of Corolla as well. This particular model has powered seats. You can see we have a 2-way adjustable lumbar support for the driver right over there. The center console is very Corolla, with that auto brake hold switch right there just behind that shifter. We have heated seats in this particular model. There are 2 different infotainment systems. There's a standard 7-inch, an optional 8-inch system, dual zone automatic climate control. The dashboard feels quite Corolla-like. There's hard plastic up top, softer plastics in the midsection over there for the passenger, but over here on the driver's side, interestingly enough, we have a hard plastic that mirrors that same shape. There's a partial LCD instrument cluster, and the steering wheel looks very much like every other modern Toyota. This particular one has a leather wrap on it, and then the buttons for the cruise control are on the face of the steering wheel. As you'd expect, interior roominess is going to be a little bit below the RAV4 because of the size of this vehicle, but it should be above some of the really small subcompact crossovers out there. Rear headroom in this model appears to be pretty generous. I have about 2 inches of headroom sitting right here, and with this front seat adjusted for me at 6 feet tall, I have approximately 2 inches of legroom left, not too much room there. We do have air vents back there for the passengers. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the Corolla Cross is not just shorter in terms of its vehicle length, but also narrower in width than the RAV4. So if you do plan on putting adults back here, keep in mind that this rear passenger area is going to be a little bit narrower. Somewhat unexpectedly, the Corolla Cross will feature a power rear hatch. I wasn't expecting that because not too many small crossovers offer that particular feature. Back here in the cargo area, you can see that we have a 60/40 folding rear seat, a roller style cargo cover. This is where we find the JBL subwoofer for the optional audio system. And then under the load floor, we actually have a spare tire. As we see in a number of other modern crossovers, if you get the front-wheel drive model, we actually have a slightly larger cargo area. We still have the spare tire under the load floor, but the load floor itself is a little lower in the vehicle. That's because the all-wheel drive system has different packaging than the front-wheel drive model. I love the fact that Toyota didn't just cheat out and give us exactly the same cargo area. The front-wheel drive models do get a little bit more room. Fortunately, they also had a base model here for display. So this one has a urethane steering wheel, as you can see right there, but it still has radar adaptive cruise control, a feature that we don't find in all the competition. This one doesn't have keyless ignition. We also don't have the LCD cluster. Instead, we have a more traditional instrument cluster right there and the smaller infotainment system. If you'd like to get your hands on a Corolla Cross, be sure and start contacting your Toyota dealer now. Pricing has not been announced yet, but we should know that very, very soon. It's likely that this is going to be pretty similar to the other options in this segment, especially the Honda HR-V, which is likely going to be its closest competitor. Also, competitors are going to be the regular sedan version of the Corolla or that red Corolla hatchback right behind me. Personally, if I were choosing between these three Corollas, the Corolla Cross is certainly the option that I would select. Let me know what you think about that down there in the comment section below. And of course, stay tuned for a ton of other videos out from my journey here to Dallas, Texas, to the Toyota headquarters. I'll see all of you later.